Hello, and welcome to this video essay, in which the opening scene of Nicholas Winding Refn's psychological horror film, The Neon Demon, will be analyzed through cinematographic elements of lenses and colors. The first scene of the movie already shows a lot of the themes and visuals that will be encountered later in the movie. The director, Winding Refn, states, "The first scene of a movie defines the style. When closely analyzing The Neon Demon, the statement can certainly be confirmed." This first essential scene illustrates the polishing way of repulsiveness through cinematography of beauty, which is Refn's intention throughout the whole movie. In The Neon Demon, we are presented with an establishing shot that introduces us to a quite disturbing scene. A young model with a cut-open throat lies on an ornate sofa, with arched cornucopia arms supporting her delicate body, situated in a fashion-like pose. Even before the camera slowly pulls back to reveal that this bloody scene is actually a photo shoot, there's something peculiar going on. We see a gory shot, but in a beautifully decorative way. The following close-up allows the viewer to scan the blood in glittery details. No dialogue is present to provide information, but the diegetic sound of the camera flash reveals to the audience that somebody is photographing her, as the camera cuts away to a man standing in the darkness. He creates a sense of something unknown, as we still don't know if he just killed the girl or if he is just visiting a crime scene. Then we go back to the girl. The camera pulls out slowly, and it becomes clear it is a photography set. Not only is the tone merely created by playing with expectations, the duality of repulsiveness and beauty is in a very direct manner sensible for the viewer. The tension that is being demonstrated here is strengthened by the fact that the pacing is very slow. You don't immediately see what is really going on in the scene, and the scene can suggest that she has simply been murdered. One of the things that stands out in this horror movie is the merging of beautiful artificial perfectness with nasty, gory images. The alienating mixture of these elements is something that sparks interest and formed the departure for this research. There's something unusual in the way the Neon Demon works, in a dichotomous sense. The scene validates the following hypothesis. In a dichotomous sense, the Neon Demon cinematography of Appealment works contradictory, concerning its portrayal of repulsive themes. In order to come to the conclusion, the notion of dichotomy must be clarified first. A dichotomy could be explained by the following quote. "One of the oldest ways of construing the universe is to see it made up by pairs of opposites. Matter and motion, good and evil, art and science. structure and function, life and the non-living, are obvious couples of this sort. The list can be extended almost indefinitely without going far from common sense. Although this might seem as a rather old source, the theory behind it is not outdated at all. Scholars such as Sheldon remind us that humankind has a certain tendency to think in binary oppositions, regardless if these oppositions are considered truly oppositional or not. As Sheldon pointed out, one way of construing the universe is to see how it is made up by pairs of opposites. Good and evil, white and black, sound and silence, life and death. And when looking at antonyms of beauty and appealment, the oppositions are considered ugly and repulsive. In this regard, the Neon Demon seems to work in a contradictory way. During the movie, we see characteristic horror subjects that are considered ugly and dirty. Blood, necrophilia, murder, cannibalism, broken limbs. But the cinematography is used to convey a story world of the fashion industry through its obsession with perfection, beauty, and spotlessness. The movie is shot with Cooke Crystal Express lenses, carefully selected to convey a strong sense of beauty, perfection, and flawlessness. When the cinematographer of the Neon Demon, Natasha Breyer, speaks about the process of finding the appropriate lenses for the movie, she explains, "When we saw the tests on the big screen, there is nothing as beautiful as the crystals. They are just so flattering. They break the light in a way that makes skin look like it's been photoshopped. And the way they refract and diffuse light is really amazing. They keep the skin tones looking like porcelain." The horror subjects of this movie are thus portrayed through a metaphorical and literal lens of beauty, something the first scene already hints at as we see Jesse covered in blood, laying on a couch, while Dean aims to shoot beautiful, fashion-like imagery. We are also immediately confronted with the porcelain photoshopped skin tone that is conveyed through the crystal lenses. Jessie looks almost like a doll. Her skin seems very shiny, smooth, and spotless. But it is not merely the lenses that contribute to dichotomous contradictions. The color scheme is also something that stands out when analyzing the Neon Demon. The color scheme consists of bright, vivid, intense, and lively colors. Colors that seem rather contradictory when displaying subjects of murder and blood, subjects that are often considered ugly and repulsive. The opening scene begins with Jessie wearing a shiny metallic blue dress. She appears dead, and there is blood dripping from her neck. However, she looks astonishingly beautiful. Hence the contradiction. The camera then zooms out, and red neon lights appear in a square around Jessie. The schematic use of the colors blue and red, the brightness and neon quality of the vivid and lively colors, fits with the tough, flashy, and fast fashion industry. To emphasize the effect the color has on the content of a horror movie, we could take an example of the first Saw movie, where the color palette is very different and therefore has another effect on the viewer. In the Saw movies, which are directed by James Wan, nasty, gory images also frequently appear on the screen. The gory images stay unappealing and don't get polished to look beautiful. Nothing within the cinematographic choices points to the fact that images must look less ugly, or should look visually more appealing. Here we can see a discrepancy compared with the Neon Demon. We notice that in Saw, one primary color dominates, namely blue. The other primary colors, red and green, are not noticeably present. Colors in Saw are not bright or intense, but look pale and ashen. The blue seen in Saw is the kind of blue you can expect in a hospital with unnatural, sharp lighting. In Saw, indeed, the light mostly comes from bright strip lights. In this, we can see proof of Kerner's statement that films that include medicalized horror tend to be bathed in a sickly bluish-greenish light, and this is particularly true of the first Saw film in Saw 3. Compared to the Neon Demon, where vivid, lively, bright colors dominate, earthy color tones are seen in the Saw movies, like the colors brown, gray, black, and yellow. The colors of filth. Absolutely no porcelain faces around here. The faces are not spotless and shiny. It looks and feels like there is dust in the air. It is overall dirty, ugly, and not clean at all. Saw is more focused on repulsiveness. In the Neon Demon, you could expect that the same gory elements mount into equally repulsive images, but that's not the case. The Neon Demon is obsessed with beauty, and the ugliness is perfectly polished away, so to say. In Saw, the theme of death is consistently felt. One could say the same for the Neon Demon, but the colors contribute to another conveyance of this theme. While the sick and raw colors of Saw are more in line with the theme of death, in the Neon Demon, the colors used to portray death is almost brushed clean in comparison to Saw. The sick and raw colors are the colors of repulsiveness, while neon colors are more leaning towards attraction and appealment. The cinematographic choice of colors in the Neon Demon thus again shows a dichotomous contradiction. Repulsion is shown through appealment. But to say that it is merely the color scheme in the Neon Demon that contributes to dichotomous contradictions would be incorrect. We can take an example of Suspiria, which is a very similar color scheme, but overall doesn't work as contradictory with duality like the Neon Demon does. Suspiria is a 1977 mystery horror film by Dario Argento. The film stars Jessica Harper as an American ballet student who transfers to a prestigious dance academy in Germany, but later realizes, amidst a series of murders, that the academy is a front for something far more sinister and supernatural. It is not a surprise that Suspiria is one of Refn's all-time favorite movies, as we can see that he has taken a lot of inspiration from the movie for his own work. The Neon Demon and Suspiria can be compared in a lot of ways. Visually, the movies are very reminiscent of each other. Both are horror movies with a type of neon aesthetic. Both work with a strong contrast of color, although Suspiria incorporates a green color more often. And in both cases, the movie's colors function as a presage for what is about to happen. But there are definitely differences in how the cinematography conveys its story world. Suspiria's cinematography is primarily focused on vibrant colors and contrasts. Its lenses, Technicolor techniques, and camera are chosen to capture the scary, fantasy, dreamy story world of Suspiria. And although the color contrasts in primary colors, vibrancy and liveliness is also a drive behind the cinematography of the Neon Demon. The difference can be found in how the movie merely draws on the cinematography of Suspiria and elaborates on it and gives it an idiosyncratic twist. The Neon Demon is obsessed with beauty, with its cinematographic elements carefully chosen to portray a world obsessed with beauty, leaning towards the artificial. While Suspiria's cinematography does not have this hyper-focus on beauty and perfection, but rather wants to convey a cinematography reminiscent of German Expressionism, with its focus on mysticality, stylized shapes, and exaggeration. It is thus not merely one element of cinematography, like color, that contributes to dichotomous contradictions in the Neon Demon. It is how all the elements of cinematography work together and contribute to the conveyance of the movie's story world. In the case of Suspiria, the story world consists of horror, magic, and a focus on exaggeration. In the case of the Neon Demon, the story world consists of horror, magic, and a focus on appealment. Both have similar color schemes, but different meanings. Overall, we can conclude that the Neon Demon and Suspiria have reminiscent color schemes, but Suspiria doesn't work with dualities the way the Neon Demon does. The cinematographic choices of the Neon Demon prove that the movie is not just a beautiful movie, it is obsessed with beauty. It is the crystal lenses, together with a vivid and lively color scheme, that gives a polished and artificial feeling, as well as lighting, a cinematographic element that was left out for this research in order to narrow it down. These cinematographic elements show how the Neon Demon works in a contradictory way, with a dichotomy of appealment versus repulsion. These are some of the things that make the Neon Demon an interesting movie to watch.